Starting with the simplest cosmic weapon, we have kinetic bombardment. No explosives, no nuclear warheads, just pure, unadulterated physics. Imagine dropping a telephone pole-sized rod of solid tungsten from low Earth orbit directly onto a city. It doesn't need an explosive payload because of a fundamental equation. Kinetic energy equals 1/2 mass times velocity squared. When a heavy, dense object falls from space, it accelerates to meteoric speeds, upward of 10 times the speed of sound. By the time it strikes the surface, it unleashes the destructive force of a tactical nuclear bomb, burrowing deep underground and vaporizing everything in a massive shockwave, but without a single trace of radioactive fallout. It is a clean, localized apocalypse, earning the nickname Rods from God. In fact, nature has been using this exact weapon for billions of years. When a dinosaur-killing asteroid slams into a planet, it is essentially a natural kinetic strike scaled up to a planetary level. But dropping heavy metal from orbit is primitive. It's just throwing a very fast rock. If we want absolute destruction, we need to upgrade to a weapon with 100% efficiency. Enter the Antimatter Bomb. To understand antimatter, look at our most terrifying current weapons, thermonuclear bombs. A nuclear blast is devastating, but terribly inefficient. It only converts about 1% of its radioactive mass into explosive energy. Antimatter, however, obeys Einstein's E equals mc squared with absolute perfection. When antimatter comes into contact with normal matter, they annihilate each other instantly, converting 100% of their combined mass into pure energy. The scale of this violence is hard to comprehend. Just 1 gram of antimatter, about the weight of a paperclip, hitting a gram of normal matter would produce an explosion equivalent to 43 kilotons of TNT. That is more than double the power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. A payload the size of a watermelon wouldn't just wipe out a continent, it would crack the Earth's crust and boil the oceans. It is the ultimate explosive payload, bottled the moment the universe was born. But here's the problem. Antimatter is incredibly hard to manufacture and contain. So what if we bypass the explosives entirely and combine the raw kinetic physics of our first weapon with the speed of light? Enter the Relativistic Kill Vehicle, or RKV. You don't need a warhead. You just need to take a massive chunk of heavy metal, say the size of a school bus, and accelerate it to 99% the speed of light. At these relativistic speeds, physics starts to break down. The kinetic energy approaches infinity. But here's what makes the RKV so terrifying. It is virtually impossible to defend against. Because it's traveling right behind its own light, by the time your planet's sensors detect it, the weapon has already hit. There is zero warning. When an RKV strikes a planet, it doesn't just make a crater. The sheer transfer of energy instantly shatters the crust, liquefying the mantle and turning the entire world into a global ocean of boiling magma in a fraction of a second. It is a planet-cracking sniper rifle that cannot miss and cannot be blocked. To put it in perspective, a 1-ton object moving at 99% the speed of light carries the energy of over 100,000 SAR bombas, the largest nuclear weapon ever detonated. Now imagine firing a fleet of them. It is the ultimate first-strike weapon for a paranoid civilization. But throwing rocks, even at the speed of light, means you still have to aim and shoot at a single target. How do you destroy a planet from an entirely different solar system without ever leaving your home? You build a Nicoll-Dyson Beam. We usually think of a Dyson sphere as an alien megastructure built around a star to harvest its energy for daily living. But if you take that exact same megastructure and arrange it as an array of trillions of massive mirrors, you turn your solar system into a weapon. A Nicoll-Dyson beam focuses the entire radiation output of a star into a single, highly concentrated laser beam. It is exactly like using a magnifying glass to burn ants on the sidewalk, except the magnifying glass is the size of the sun, and the ant is a planet dozens of light years away. By phasing the mirrors, an advanced civilization can target a specific world across the galaxy and bathe it in stellar fire. The atmosphere would ignite, the oceans would flash boil into steam, and the entire biosphere would be vaporized before the inhabitants even knew what hit them. It is quite literally weaponizing a star. You could keep this stellar laser turned on for days, sweeping it across multiple planets in a system like a cosmic blowtorch. And because it travels at the speed of light, it is another weapon with no advance warning. You just look up and the sky is suddenly brighter than 1,000 suns. But weaponizing a single star is still thinking small. The next weapon uses the most violent and dense object in the universe, a spinning black hole. To build a black hole bomb, you rely on a mind-bending physics concept called superradiant scattering, derived from the Penrose process. You must enclose a rapidly rotating black hole entirely within a massive, impenetrable spherical mirror. Then you shoot a single beam of electromagnetic radiation, like a highly calibrated laser or radio wave, into the structure. As the light enters the black hole's ergosphere, the terrifying region where space-time itself is being dragged around at near light speed, it steals a fraction of the black hole's rotational kinetic energy. The light bounces off the inner wall of the mirror, passes through the ergosphere again, steals even more energy, and amplifies. It is an unstoppable cosmic feedback loop. Think of it like revving an infinitely powerful engine where the fuel is pure light. The energy trapped inside the mirror builds exponentially. When you're ready to pull the trigger, you either open a specialized hatch to release a devastating, hyper-focused beam, or you simply let the mirror shatter under the immense, crushing pressure. The resulting detonation is essentially an artificial supernova. It would unleash a shockwave of raw, unadulterated radiation powerful enough to completely sterilize every single planet within a radius of dozens of light years. You are not just destroying a world, you are wiping out an entire stellar neighborhood in one blinding flash. But you don't even need to build a black hole bomb yourself when the universe has already built the heaviest artillery imaginable, just waiting to have its trigger pulled. Enter the Quasar Cannon. At the center of almost every galaxy lies a supermassive black hole. When these cosmic titans actively gorge on surrounding gas and dust, they become quasars or blazars if they're pointed directly at us. The magnetic fields around these feeding black holes are so impossibly strong that they channel falling matter outward, shooting twin relativistic jets of energized plasma into deep space. These jets can stretch for millions of light years, piercing right through the intergalactic void. Now imagine a hyper-advanced civilization capable of stellar engineering on a galactic scale. If they could somehow manipulate the immense magnetic fields or alter the rotational axis of their galactic central black hole, they could actively aim this jet. They would be using a galactic core like a gigantic, million-light-year-long cosmic blowtorch. By simply sweeping this jet across the sky, they would instantly roast thousands of star systems that happen to be caught in the line of fire. It is a weapon that operates not on a planetary scale, but on a galactic one. But all of these weapons, even the galactic ones, only destroy matter. The final weapon on our list doesn't just destroy matter, it deletes the laws of physics entirely. Welcome to vacuum decay. To understand this, you need to know about the Higgs field, which gives everything in the universe its mass. Right now, our universe is sitting in what physicists call a false vacuum, a temporary stable energy state, much like a ball resting in a shallow dent on the side of a mountain, but it's not at the absolute bottom. If a truly godlike civilization could generate an event extreme enough, perhaps by concentrating unimaginable amounts of energy into a single microscopic point, they could push that ball over the edge, dropping space-time itself into a lower energy state known as the true vacuum. The moment this happens, a bubble of true vacuum would form and begin expanding outward in all directions at the exact speed of light. Inside this bubble, the very rules of reality are rewritten. The forces holding atoms together would change or cease to exist. Chemistry becomes impossible. Everything it touches is instantly erased and replaced by a completely alien physics. It expands forever, completely invisible until the exact millisecond it hits you, and absolutely unstoppable. It is the ultimate cosmic weapon because it leaves nothing behind to even remember there was a war. If you want to keep exploring the absolute limits of the universe, hit that subscribe button.